Hi everyone. So thank you for joining the IBC Solar webinar presenting the topic of tax incentives for solar. So I would like to thank Leonard Mathee from the tax shop accountants Plattekloof for joining us today and are going to share some knowledge with us. So Leonard, thank you for joining, and I'm going to give over to you to start your presentation.
Thank you, Zalay. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Good morning. Hope you're all well. I'm just going to jump right into it. I think the question is, how can I maximize the deduction on income tax with solar assets? So the idea of today is to just talk about solar tax rebate for businesses, which is Section 12BA of the Income Tax Act, and then also the solar tax rebate for individuals, which is Section 6C of the Income Tax Act. Firstly, who am I? I am Leonard Mathee. I'm the Managing Director of the Tax Shop Accountants in Plattekloof. I have 15 plus years in audit, tax and advisory. I'm a registered professional tax practitioner, and I make life easier. So, solar tax rebate, Section 12BA. So what is the rebate exactly? Section 12BA deduction amounts to 125% of the cost of a qualifying solar asset. It's important to note, that this asset must be used to generate electricity. What are qualifying solar assets? There's a long list. I don't think anything has really been excluded, but there's a long list that I can share with you as well. I've just summarized it here. That goes from foundation supporting structures, the PV panels and the parts, solar cells and panels, bidirectional utility meter, AC inverters, batteries, power optimizers, DC combiner, DC boxes and feeder lines, racking, cable, wiring, the planning, installation, and the delivery costs of these items. So standalone batteries and inverters not used with solar panels will not qualify as they do not generate electricity. So it has to be connected. I think at this stage, let's do an example. I mean, the 125% is quite easy to understand what they have put into legislation. Example, if you buy on the 1st of March, a business buys a solar asset at 10 million rand, 125% times 10 million, that gives you 12.5 million that can be claimed as a deduction. Example 2, 1 September 2024, which is around the corner, a business buys a solar asset at 1 million. Again, 125% times 1 million gives you 1.25. That can be claimed as a deduction. So what are the requirements? How can you claim this? The solar system asset must be brought into use for the first time on or after 1 March 2023 and before 1 March 2025. So it's important to note that there's a sort of a sunset clause that is running out very soon. So should businesses want to take advantage of this, they would need to take advantage of this before the 1st of March 2025, which is 6 to 7 months from now. The 12BA deduction, it must be claimed in the year of assessment when the solar assets were acquired or brought into use for the first time. So from the 1st of March 2023, it could have been claimed. If you haven't claimed it for that tax year and you're still busy with your financial statements and these things, it has to be claimed in that very first year. Just to note that it also applies to a lessor installs qualifying assets that are brought into use by the lessor's lessee. Just note that the lessor's deduction will be limited to the rental income under Section 23A. So the deduction cannot exceed the income generated from that asset. And then the owner of the solar assets will claim the 12BA deduction against the electricity sold in a power agreement and other trading income. So it means that you can deduct it. It's not going to be ring fence. It's going to be part of a deduction, whether it's part of power purchase agreement or any other trading income. And then important to note that the 12BA deduction does not have an electricity generation limit. So there's no cap on the amount of electricity it limits. It's limited to the cap. Yeah, sorry. There's no cap on the amount of electricity it generates. There we go. Yeah, so there is, I don't want to call it a pitfall, but I just wanted to just mention that, you know, what if you dispose of this asset or sell it before 1 March, so say the business has acquired it during this window of 1 March 2023 up to 28 February 2025. What if you sell it, you know, within the first 12 months after that, for whatever reason, there is an enhanced recoupment on the 12BA, which means that if you sell it at above the cost, the recoupment will be equal to the BA deduction. So if you have sold it for more than you have bought it for, then you will have to give back SARS the amount that you deducted in your very first year that you bought it. If you have sold it below the cost, which normally will happen, perhaps maybe in this sector because depreciate at a time, then the recoupment will be 125% of the proceeds received. Okay. Then on or after 1 March 2026, which means that after the 12 months, the recoupment will be equal to the lesser of the proceeds received and the 12BA deduction. So what they effectively mean is that at 25% will become a permanent deduction. So whenever you sell it after 1 March 2026, SARS will only recoup or include it as income up to 100% and not 125%. So yeah, that's just good things to note on the business side. At this stage, this is halfway through on the business side. I'm not sure if there are any questions.
Yes, Leonard, I've got 2 questions.
Yes.
So first question is, what happens after 2025 with the tax rebate? So currently it's 125% until end of 2025. What happens after 2025?
So before 12BA, there was a rebate or a tax deduction that was called 12B. And 12B was firstly, the deduction was 50, 30, 20. And then at some stage they said, okay, if it is a solar panel or renewable energy, you can deduct 100% in your first year. So it will just revert back to the 100%, except if in the next coming months, they promulgate or have an idea to extend it for the future.
Got you. And then the second question would be I just want clarity on the deductions. So that 125%, can that deduction only be deducted from the generated electricity, or can that be deducted from your whole tax bill?
That's the whole tax bill. So it's not the tax bill; it reduces your taxable income. But yeah, it's not just generated electricity; it's for all trading and generated electricity income.
Okay, got you. Thank you. That's it.
Excellent, thank you. Very good question.
I have a question, please.
Yep.
Can you just provide clarity again? Let's say they buy an asset, they get the deduction, and then after 2026 they sell the asset.
Yep.
how does that work? I just lost you a bit on that, or kind
Yeah.
of don't understand exactly.
So what it effectively means, what SARS wants to just limit is that you don't actually just buy and sell this to get, you know,
The
get some
benefit.
sort of benefit. Yeah. So it
Mm-hmm.
just reverts back after 2026. It reverts back to say, okay, you know, if you sell it, we will tax you on what you have sold it for, because remember you've deducted 125%. But so there's on a tax base, it's zero. There's no base. So if you even if you sell it for 100 rand, then you know that 100 rand will be included in your tax bill. Um, so
Okay. So
so
there's a
that's
business case now, then, of course, a lot of companies probably buy an asset and then they write off the asset.
yeah
Then after 2026, they sell that asset at an agreed rate to a PPA partner, but sign
yeah
a 10-year lease. So then they get the tax benefit and the operational expense, because then they can be just renting the system basically, but they
yeah
can agree to. Because that seems what's happening now. Like a lot of these financial companies are going and buying the assets back, and I couldn't understand or want to buy the assets back, and I couldn't make sense of it. But that what I'm saying now makes sense, right?
yeah. It does make sense.
Okay. Cool.
Because that 12BA law applies to new and used systems, right? So it doesn't need to be a newly installed system. It can be a bought over system.
No,
No, I
the
don't see
12BA
any.
is only for brought into use for the first time.
Okay. Okay. But
So
then what's the benefit of buying the system back?
Yeah, Kaki, you buy the system. Let's say you buy the system as for 100,000 rand, right? You get
Yeah.
125,000 rand deduction. Then after
Yeah.
2026, you sell the system for 10,000 rand. You only get taxed for the 10,000 rand, but you lease the system for 10,000 rand a month, and then that so you got that big tax benefit, the 125. Then you sell the system, you sell it very cheap, you sell it at 10,000 rand, and then for the next 10 years you write off
Got you.
the operational expense of buying the electricity.
Got you.
It's
Okay.
like a double loophole.
Yeah.
I'm sure when they did this, that was not their intention. But you know, that's just if I don't see anything per se wrong with what their plans are. I mean, there's contracts and things in place there.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, let's call it a business case for now. I like the use of the word. Any other questions? I'm going to move on. So now from a solar tax rebate section 6C individual side, so yeah, did you know about it? That is my first question. So it was introduced in 2023 by the Minister of Finance during the budget speech. It is a financial incentive for individual taxpayers who install solar panels, and this rebate was just qualifying for solar panels that was brought into use during the year of assessment from 1 March 2023 up to 2024. So that it's no longer applicable. You can't claim it for your 2025 tax year. So which is quite sad that they only introduced for 1 year. But it is currently what it is. The next, who can claim the solar tax incentive? So like I said, any individual who pay personal income tax, like pay as you earn, should that be the case, installed, it must be newly installed and unused PV panels. You can claim a 25% of the cost of these bills up to a maximum of 15,000 against the tax liability. And this rebate does not apply to solar installations at business premises, which we already, you know, talked about just now in 12BA. So how do I claim the rebate? If you qualify, you must include it into your total cost, the total cost into your IT12 that you complete for 2024. And this is now. So, tax season commenced on the 15th of July 2024. It ends the 21st of October if you're a non-provisional taxpayer, and it ends on the 20th of January next year if you are a provisional taxpayer. So it's important to just, going back, you might forget about it, or you think it's too late to claim. It's actually not too late to claim. Now is the time to claim it. So do I qualify? Again, only new and unused PV panels bought between 1 March 2023 and 29 February 2024 will qualify. It must be installed at a primary residence that's mainly used for domestic purposes. Panels must have a capacity of 275 watt per panel. And the panels must be part of a system that is connected to the distribution board of the residence. It could have been installed as part of a new installation or as an addition to the existing solar system, as long as it is new and brought into use between 1 March 23 and 29 Feb 2024. And then the question that is, I think, might be quite popular is, can I claim it if I'm renting a home? Yes, you can. So the rebate does not require property ownership, but only the party who paid for the solar panels can claim the rebate. So, not both. It's not going to be the tenant and the landlord that can claim this. It's either one. So what is excluded from the cost that is eligible for the solar tax rebate? So it does not include the cost of the inverter and the battery. So it's only on the solar panels, and it only applies to this cost of the panels. So that's just an important thing to note. The 12BA, is the whole system, where Section 6C is just for the panels. Then again, some examples over here. So solar panels claimed, so just to recap, solar panels can be claimed 25% of the cost of the new and unused PV panels up to a maximum of a rebate of 15,000. So a person buys 10 panels at 5,000 Rand per panel, totaling 50,000 Rand. That person can claim 25% of the cost up to 15,000. So 25% times 50,000 is 12,500, and in this instance they can claim the 12,500. Example 2, a person buys 20 PV panels at 5,000 Rand per panel. That's 100,000 Rand in total. That person can claim 25% of the cost up to 15,000. So the rules stay exactly the same. 25% times 100,000 is 25,000. However, of this total, 25% adds up to 25,000, which exceed the maximum claim of 15,000. So the claim is limited to the 15,000. So that's just an important thing to note, that you will forego the other 10,000 because it's limited to the 15,000. So what documents do I need to claim this? A COC, Electrical Certificate of Compliance. Obviously a proof of payment with an invoice or a payment agreement. And then proof of property ownership or property use, if a rental agreement, if you are only renting the property. And that brings me to the end of the individual side. Are there any questions on Section 6C?
Yes, Leonard, I've got one. Do you know if there's any talks of new rebates for 2025 for individuals?
Nothing at this point. Yeah, I don't know how to elaborate on that, because I think
Yeah. No, 100%, that's fine.
yeah, I think they are missing a market there that we can tap in. We desperately need it. you know, from a supply point of view. But yeah, for now, there's no tax rebate for the 2025 income tax year.
And, okay, now that we're talking about 25 and for businesses, is there anything
Yeah,
in
so 12BA still goes on up to 29 Feb 2025. Yeah, so you can still, for the next 6 months, tap into buying this and getting the 125%.
yeah, and the next financial year?
It will
Do
revert
you
back to the
know
100.
of anything?
Not at this stage. There's talks. So in 2 months' time, I think I have another webinar here, and then hopefully at that point, you know, there would be more on the table. But at this point, nothing has been set in stone. Nothing has been signed off. There's just talks about it. But yeah, hopefully in the next 2 months there will be more clarity.
Got you. Well, this was awesome. Thanks, Leonard.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Anything else?
I just for clarity, so that 125% that businesses are currently enjoying, does that end completely after this financial year?
That's correct.
So there's nothing, it's not like it reverts back to anything, it will just fall away if they don't extend it.
Correct. It will just fall back to 12B, which was the 100%.
100, okay, got you.
Yeah,
Brilliant, thank you so much.
excellent. So if there's anyone.
Yes, Eric.
Sorry, I just logged in now. I've got the feeling that ended already. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, basically we are at the end now, Eric.
That also means that as I also there not really any incentives to for.
Eric, we will the recording, we made a recording of it, so you're more than welcome to, we're gonna send the recording out to everyone. And you're more than welcome to go have a look at the recording. It's very insightful. And then if you've got any questions, I'll pop my email address into the chat group now, and then you can just send me any questions that you might have. As you can see, Leonard has also his email address on the screen at the moment, so you're more than welcome to send him an email or give him a call.
Good, Arno.
Excellent. Then from my side, I say thank you for joining me, and yeah, I hope there was something that you did not know, or you learned something today, and just want to say have a good day.
Thank you, appreciate that. Have a good one, ciao.
Thanks, Leonard. I think I definitely learned something today. So I'm looking forward. We're going to have another session. I will make the dates available. Eric, sorry for only getting you in so late, but I'll send you all the details, and then you can also make sure to join the next one. Leonard, thank you again, and I will upload the recording soon. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Zanai. Thank you, everyone. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.